Hello students, so today we are going to start our next chapter, that is chapter number 2, residential status and scope of total income. Okay, so let's start the practical questions of this chapter. I hope you all have covered the questions of chapter number 1, basic concepts of income tax, which we have covered in the last previous 2 sessions. Okay, those students who do not have covered till it yet, so you can find its link in the description below. Now let's start it. So it is illustration number 1. Mr. Anand is an Indian citizen and a member of the crew of a Singapore-bound Indian ship. Now, the Singapore-bound Indian ship, it is clear that it is a foreign-bound Indian ship. It means the assessee is a crew member of the foreign-bound Indian ship, engaged in carriage of passengers in international traffic, departing from Chennai port on 6 June 2023. It means Mr. Anand left India on 6th June 2023. From the following details for previous year 23-24, determine the residential status of Mr. Anand for assessment year, assuming that his stay in India in the last 4 previous years is 400 days. Okay, let's find it out. So, date entered into the continuous discharge certificate, it means the date when he left India, 6 June 2023. Date entered into the continuous discharge certificate in respect of signing of the ship, it means the day on which he comes into India. That is 9 December 2023. So student, it is very much clear that from 6th June 2023 to 9 December 2023, Mr. Anand was not present in India. Okay. And we have to calculate to find out the residential status of any person, that how many particular days that person was staying in India in the previous year 23-24. Yeah. So what we have to calculate, it means if we calculate these days, that from 6th June to 9th December, and we deduct it from the total number of days in a year, we will find out that how many days he was in the India. Okay, so let's do it. First of all, let's find out it. So 6th June 2023 to 9th December 2023. Let's find it out. 6th June 2023, it means, first of all, I'm counting these days. Okay, so basically June, July, August, September, October, November, and December. Okay, so these are the particular days when that person was not present in India. So 6th June, it means 5 days in June, 1 to 5th June, he was in India. Okay, so we have to calculate it from the 6th June. So basically these are the 25 days. Okay, because total 30 days there are in June, deduct 5 days, that is 1st to 5th June, so balance days are the 25 days. July, 31 days. August, again 31 days. September, 30 days. October, 31. November, 30. And till 9 December, he was on the ship. So how many days are there in the, how many days of December we will calculate here? 9 days. Okay. Let's find out the total number of days. Bring out your calculators and please calculate it. So that is 25 plus 31 plus 31 plus 30 plus 31 plus 30 plus 9. Total days are 187 days. 187 days. Okay. Now, in the previous year, 23-24, how many total days were there in the previous year, 23-24? Ma'am, normally there are 365 days in a year, but as it is 2024, it means from 1st April 2023 to 31st March 2024. So that is, it is a leap year. February is a leap month in the year 2024. So total days were 366. Minus 187, let's deduct it. So 179 days. Total number of days in the previous year in which he was present in India was 179 days. And as students, he was a member of a foreign-bound Indian ship. He is a crew member of the foreign-bound Indian ship. So what is the basic condition we have to check it here? That for becoming a resident, Mr. Anand must be in India for at least 182 days in the previous year. Because that condition, second condition, 60 days were not applied on that person. Yeah? And he is less than 182 days, that is 179 days. So Mr. Anand is a non-resident in this case. I hope you got my point. Okay. Now, next question, illustration number 2. Brett Lee, an Australian cricket player, visits India for 100 days in every financial year. This has been his practice for the past 10 financial years. Okay. First, you have to find out his residential status for the assessment year 24-25. Now, students, what are the period of stay during the previous year 23-24? He's clearly mentioning you that 100 days. Okay. Now, students, we have two basic conditions for becoming a person to be a resident. First of all, that person has a stay in India of at least 182 days. At least 182 days in previous year. And the second condition, I think, he can either fulfill the first condition or the second condition. Okay, so the second condition is 60 days in previous year. That is minimum 60 days or I think 60 days in previous year, 2023-24, plus 365 days, at least 365 days in 4 years, 4 previous years immediately preceding the previous year. It will immediately preceding the previous year 23-24. Okay, so now student, it is given that he is in India in 2023-24 for at least 60 days because he was in India for 100 days. So this condition is satisfied. Plus the additional condition is they have to fulfill these both conditions now. So at least 365 days in 4 years. He was coming in India for 100 days for past 10 financial years. Okay, now. So it means, student, we can write 100, 100, 100 and 100 for the 4 years. That is 400. So yeah, he was in India for more than 365 days in the 4 previous years. So Mr. Brett Lee becomes a resident in India because he is satisfying this condition. Now we have to check that he is an ordinary resident or not ordinary resident. Let's come on this. So students, for checking out that person is a ordinary resident or not ordinary resident, what we have to check that he must be in India. He must be a resident in India. Let's see. If a person is resident, and now we have to check that he is an ordinary resident, not the NOR. So we have to check that he must be in India. Just try to understand from this point of view, okay? Because study material has given this point of view, so I'm taking the same because we have to write these kind of answers in our examination. Okay, so now for it. If a person becomes a not ordinary resident, NOR, he have to satisfy any of the condition given below. Okay, the first condition is that he must be a NR in India for 9 out of 10 years. Okay, it means from the total previous 10 years, he must be a non-resident for any 9 years. Okay, so is he a non-resident? No, ma'am, he was a resident now. Okay, so this condition not satisfied. Second, his stay in India for the 7 previous years immediately preceding the previous year must be 729 days or less. If this condition is satisfied, so Mr. Brett Lee will become NOR. Now, calculate the number of days he was in India for the 7 years immediately preceding the previous year. He was in India for every 100 days. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 700 days. At least, student, he is satisfying this condition. How? Because he must be in India for 729 days or less than 729 days. So yeah, he was in India for 700 days, that is less than 729 days. So that person, Mr. Brett Lee, becomes an NOR in India. This is clear to all of you? Okay, so Mr. Brett Lee is a resident, but not ordinarily resident. You have to write these kind of notes in the examination. It will give you a very good marks. Okay, now come on to the next point of this question. That is point number B. Would your answer change if the above facts relate to Srinath, an Indian cricket citizen who resides in Australia and represents the Australian cricket team? Tell me one thing, student. If these points are related to Srinath, who is an Indian citizen, so does your point of view change? Does the basic conditions change? Tell me one. Yeah, ma'am. In that case, the basic conditions will change because now the basic conditions will be if the above facts relate to Mr. Srinath, who is an Indian citizen and residing in Australia, come on a visit to India So in that case, students, he will become a non-resident in India. How, ma'am, he will become a non-resident? Because in that case, we have to check that he must be in India for at least 120 days in the previous year. And for the 4 previous 365 days. But we are not going to that point now because the first condition is not satisfying here. He is not in India for the 120 days. Okay. Now, ma'am, when this 120 days point comes, so basically student, this point comes when they have given the income point of view that his income is exceeding the rupees 15 lakhs and all, excluding the income from the foreign person. But irrespective of the total income, we are not required to check the total income because he stays actually less than 120 days now. So he is a non-resident for India. Would your answer be changed if Srinath had visited India for 120 days instead of 100 days? Yes, in that case, our answer will be changed because in that case, Srinath will become a resident in India. But he have to satisfy one more condition. His income must be exceeding 15 lakh rupees, excluding the income from the foreign total. If this condition applies, so yeah, he will be a resident. In that case, a resident and ordinary resident, as we have already checked these conditions. Okay, but last 2 days. But if his total income, we have to give him this fact also, if his total income does not exceed the rupees 15 lakhs, so he would be a non-resident in India. Okay, so this question basically depends on the income of that person, but now as the income does not given in the question, we will give the both of the point of view. Next, illustration number 3, this is your homework, similar to the illustration number 1 and 2. This is your homework. Now next, come to the illustration number 4, which is related to the HUF, Hindu Undivided Family. Illustration number 4. The business of a HUF is transacted from Australia and all the policy decisions are taken there. The business of a HUF is transacted in Australia and all the policy decisions are taken there. Mr. E, the Karta of the HUF, who was born in Kolkata, visits India during the previous year after 15 years. Okay. He comes to India on 1st April 2023 and leaves for Australia on 1st December 2020. Determine the residential status of Mr. E and HUF. Now, for most of the students do a mistake here. They just find out the residential status of Hindu Undivided Family by superly assuming that, okay, this question is about the HUF. But in this question, they have given that you have to find out the residential status of Mr. E and HUF. So there are 2 basically points here and you have to give the answer of both the points. Okay. So first of all, we are finding the residential status of E and then we will find the residential status of HUF. Okay. Now, for Mr. E, who is an cut of HUF, his stay in India in the previous year was, let's calculate it. He comes in India on 1st April 2023. So, April, 30 days, then May, June, July, August, September, October, November. He leaves India on 1st December. So students, in these type of questions are where you are cancellating the days, you have to cancellate this particular day also. So it means plus 1 day of December. This will play a very important role in examination. But if this question is about the ship question, that is the foreign bound Indian ship, so in that case, we will count these dates and the days of ship. Okay now, yeah. So these all become the 245 days, which means Mr. E is in India for more than 182 days. So yeah, he is a resident. Now we have to check he is an ordinary or not ordinary. For a person becoming the ordinary resident, he has to satisfy 2 conditions. He must, or I can say that if a person is a non-resident or not ordinary resident, he has to satisfy any of the following conditions. First of all, he must be a NR for at least 9 out of 10 years. Yeah, he is a NR. Second, students, or he must be in India for 729 days or less. Here, in this case, actually, both the conditions, we have to satisfy any of the conditions, but in this question, both the conditions are going to be satisfied. So here, he is a not ordinary resident. Now we have to check what is the residential status of HUF. We are assuming if Karta is a resident and not ordinary resident, so HUF is also a R but N1. For checking the residential status of HUF, we have to check for the basic conditions. We have to check that where the policy decisions are taken. Okay. So in that case, or we can say where the control and management is going to be happen. So we are assuming as the policy decisions are taken in Australia, so the control and management is also in Australia of HUF. That HUF is a non-resident in previous year 23-24. Got it? Let's come to the next question. Illustration number 5. Come on the illustration number 5. Okay. Next is the illustration number 5 from the following particulars of income furnished by Mr. Anirudh pertaining to the year ended 31st March 2024. Compute the total income for assessment year 24-25 if he is ROR, R but NOR and NR. Okay, let's do this question. This is very important for the examination point of view. This is actually a repeated question in the examination. Okay, just wait. So the first, and student, first of all, what is the format to do these kind of questions? Okay, now what you have to do, first of all, write the computation of total income. Computation of total income. Now let's see one thing. If in the paper, if in the examination question, this is written that for assessment year 24-25, it actually means previous year 23-24 now. But it will leave a great impact on the examiner if you write as it is given in the question part. If they are asking in the assessment year point of view, so you have to write the assessment year, not the previous year. Computation of total income for assessment year 24-25. Okay, now what do you have to do? Just name these points. Serial number, particulars, then 3 points. Then the 3 conditions in the similar point. First, second, first, second and third. It is first column is about the serial number, second is about the particulars. Okay, second is about the particulars. I hope the screen is visible to all of you. Third is about just wait up, students. Then third is about the resident and ordinary resident. That is about the OR. Okay, ordinarily resident. Please write completely. I am writing the short form for saving the time. Then R but NOR. That is resident but not ordinary resident. Again, you have to write it in the full form. Then NR, non-resident. Then student, first number, what is a particular? They are asking short-term capital gain on sale of shares of an Indian company received in Germany. So they are asking you that if a person is, if Mr. Anirudh, and yes, as the name is also given, so you have to write the name and the computation of total income of Mr. Anirudh. Of Mr. Anirudh. Okay, yeah, these all I'm going to give you the marks. Now, they're asking you if the person, if that Anirudh is ROR, R but NOR and NR. So how does it is going to impact his income? Okay, in these type of questions, you have to remember one thing, and I'm going to tell you about some basic facts. If you understand those points, 100% you are going to crack these questions and examinations. First of all, students, there are 4 kinds of income which are taxable for every person. That either is a R but OR, R, NOR, NR. Those 4 income will be taxable for all the persons. Okay, the first income is income accruing in India. Income accruing or arising in India. Second income is income deemed to accrue or arise in India. Deemed means that actually that income is not accruing in India, but we are supposing it. Okay, income deemed to accrue or arise in India. We have covered all these points in the class also. Okay, the income received in India. Four, income deemed to be received in India. So these are basically the 4 points which will be taxable for every person of every residential status. Then these are taxable for every person. Okay. Then there is a 5th income which will be taxable only and only. Yeah. 1,125. Student, in the case of resident, ROR, every income is taxable. Every. Either it is any kind of income, every income is taxable for ROR. Except the exempted incomes. Exempted income means like the agricultural income and all. Except the exempted incomes. Now, for NR, only these 4 incomes will be taxable, not any other income except these 4 income. But for the person R but NOR, one additional income will also be taxable. And that income is if that person, just come on this point, if there is an income or income accrued or arising outside the Indian during the previous year, but students, that income is coming from the business which is derived, that business is actually derived from a business or any kind of sources, and that business is controlled or that profession is set up in India. Okay, write it down. R but NOR, income accruing outside India, but business controlled or profession set up in India. Okay. So I hope now you've got all these points. And now I expect that you will be easily able to solve the question we are going to cover. Okay. First of all, short-term capital gain or sale of shares of an Indian company. As told, these are sale of shares of an Indian company. So obviously, these are kind of the share. They are the Indian share company shares. So approval point is in India. So it will be taxable for all the person. 10,000. Okay. I'm not writing the particulars here. You can write it by yourself. Next is, sorry, it is not the figure 10,000. It is 15,000. The figure is the 15,000. Next point, dividends from a Japanese company received in Japan. It means no source, no income source, no accrual point, no receivable point, not any kind of point in Indiana. So student, this income will not be taxable for NR and this income will not be taxable for NOR. Okay, not taxable. But as every income is taxable for the person who is a resident and ordinary resident, so yeah, this income will be taxable for this person. Third point is rent from property in London deposited in a bank in London, later on remitted to India through approved banking channels. Remitted does not mean received. Remitted is not equal to received. Okay. Many students misinterpret this that remitted means received. No, remitted means that it has been received in the London, but later on that Mr. Anirudh transferred the amount to the Indian banking account. Okay, so this is not the receivable point. This is actually only a transfer. So, in this case, students, this is a rent from a property in London. Again, no income accrual, no income received in India. So, not taxable for NOR and NR. But yeah, every income is taxable for our ordinary residents. So, 75,000 will be taxable for it. But here is a twist. Student, in the case of house property, as we have covered in the income from house property chapter also in the class, there is a flat reduction of 30%. So they will provide the flat reduction to Mr. Anirudh. 75,000 minus 30%. So 52,500 will be taxable here. Okay? Got it? And if you are new to my channel, please subscribe it, students. Dividends from RP Limited and Indian company is just an Indian company, so obviously taxable for all the persons. 6,000, 6,000 and 6,000. Agricultural income from land in Gujarat. It is taxable, but as it is exempted income now, so not taxable for anyone. But you have to write it down because it is exempt under Section 10, Clause number 1 of Income Tax Act 1951. With this, we have covered our question. You can calculate this. 15,000 plus 10,000 plus 52,500 plus 6,000. Total is 83,500. Then 15,000 plus 6,000, 21,000. Again 21,000. So this is the gross total income. Now, is there any kind of reduction under Chapter 6A, that is Section 83, ATT and all time? So no. So the taxable income will be the same. That is 83,500, 21,000 under 21,000. Okay. I hope you got this point also. Yeah. So here we have the answer. Student, these notes are very important, which I told you verbally now. These notes are very important. You have to write it in the examination also. Next is, so yeah, with this we have covered all the illustrations of the chapter number 2. There's an illustration also, that is illustration number 6. Let's come on this also. So next is the illustration number 6. Mr. David, an Indian citizen, aged 40 years, a government employee serving in the Ministry of External Affairs, Italy. Mr. David is a government employee. Okay. Left India for the first time on 31st March 2023 due to his transfer to High Commission of Canada. Now, to date, it means he is outside India for the employment purpose and the government is sent to it. It means he is a government employee. He did not visit any time during the previous year 23-24 because he has left India on 31st March 2023-24. So, from 1st April 2023 to 31st March 2024, he was not in India. Okay. So, from this point, we got to know that he is a non-resident because he is not in India for any single day in the previous year. He has received the following income for the financial year 23-24. Let's find out the taxable income for a non-resident person. Salary computed. Taxable. Computed means that all the deductions of section 16 and all the deductions have already been deducted from the quota. And this is a taxable salary. So you are not required to give any kind of deduction there. Foreign allowance not included in one above. Taxable? No, it is exempted. Why? Students, if any government employee, if any Indian government employee got any kind of foreign allowance from the government, not the salary is taxable, but the allowances which is given to that person in the foreign allowance are exempted. Okay. Interest from FD from Bank in India, taxable. Income from agriculture in Nepal, not taxable. It is not exempted. The student exempted point will come if that is income is derived from the India, that is agricultural income in India. So that was exempted. But it is agricultural income in Nepal and the person in resident. So only the 4 income will be taxable for that person. Accrue, deemed to accrue, receipt and deemed to receive. And this income does not fall in any of the criteria, so it is not taxable for the non-resident person. Income from house property in Nepal, again not taxable because again not lying in those 4 points. So the taxable income for the person is 5 lakh plus 1 lakh, that is 6 lakh rupees. Okay. So here is the GTI 6 lakh rupees. Next illustration comes. So next illustration number 7. Let's come on this. Students, illustration number 7 is your over. Okay. Next is illustration number 8. Again, this is very, very, very important illustration. Please consider it very carefully. Okay. Write it very, very, very important. Compute the total income in the hands of an individual, each 35 years, being a resident and ordinarily resident, resident but not ordinarily resident, and NR for the assessment year 24-25, assuming he has exercised the option of shifting out of the default tax regime. It means he has exercised the option for the old tax regime because the default one is a new one now. So he has exercised the option to shift out of that tax regime. So we are considering the old tax regime. Interest on UK development bonds, 50% of interest received in India. It means again we have to do that question that is in the 3 marks line. First, serial number, particulars, OR, NOR. Just wait, students. Okay, and the first point, it is ROR, NROR. Okay, now the question is interest on UK development bonds. Wait. So the first point is interest on UK development bonds, 50% of interest received in India. Again, student, for resident and ordinarily resident, all the income that is 10,000 will be taxable. For NOR and NR, only that income will be taxable which is received in India. Okay, that is 50%. 5,000. Next point, income from a business is Chennai, 50% received in India. For the resident OR, 20,000, 100%. Then For NOR and NR, 50% no students because accrual point is in India now. So complete 20,000 will be taxable for all the persons. Here it is. Okay. Next question. Short-term capital gain on sale of shares of an Indian company received in London. Agreed? Because these are sale of shares of an Indian company now. So accrual point is in India. So 20,000 will be taxable for all the three persons. Okay. Next is dividend from British company received in London, not related to India in any kind of. So this income will be taxable only for ROR. Long-term capital gain on sale of plant at Germany. 50% of gains are received in India. So 40,000 for ORs will be taxable, and for the persons NOR and NR, only that income will be taxable which is received in India, that is a 50%. 20,000, 20,000. Next is income earned from business in Germany, which is controlled in Delhi. 40,000 received in India. So student, first of all, for ordinarily resident, complete income will be taxable, that is 70,000 for R, but NOR, complete income will be taxable, 70,000. And the reason being, because student, that business is in Germany, but it is controlled in India, Delhi. That is controlled in India, and so complete income will be taxable here. Next is, for how much income will be taxable for the person who is a non-resident. So for that person, only 40,000 will be taxable because student, that is received in India. Okay. The accrual point is not in India. Accrual point is in Germany because income earned from a business which is in Germany now. So only that income will be taxable for NR which is received in India. 40,000. Income from house property in London, deposited in a bank at London, brought to India. NOR, NR, not taxable. For OR, 50,000 minus 30%. 50,000 minus 30%, that is flat deduction for income from house property. 35,000 will be taxable. Okay. Interest on debentures in an Indian company received in London. Again, in an Indian company, now so 12,000 is taxable for all the persons. Fee for technical services rendered in India but received in London. Again, rendered in India, accrual point in India. So taxable for all the persons. Profit from a business in Mumbai managed from London. Business in Mumbai, arriving from Mumbai, taxable for all. Income from property situated in Nepal received there, computed. 16,000 will be taxable only for OR, not for any person. This is income from property. So minus 30% no, because the word computed is given here. Computed means that all the deductions have already been provided. Past foreign untaxed income brought to India during the previous year. Now, there is an income of 5,000 rupees, which is, just wait. Let's come on this one. Yes, one. This is past foreign untaxed income, which is brought to India during the previous year. Now, when this is past foreign untaxed income now, so that is not taxable for even for the OR person. Okay. And you have to write it in the notes also. They have not given it in the notes, but you have to write that the past foreign untaxed income is not taxable. Next point is, ma'am, why it is not taxable even for the OR? So the reason being foreign, because it is past foreign untaxed income, that is not the taxable income for the previous year. It is just bringing into India in the previous year, so that is not taxable. Income from agricultural land in Nepal received there and then brought to India. Not taxable for the NOR and NR, but yeah, taxable for the OR. But agricultural income is exempted. Again, this is an income in Nepal. Okay, so that will be taxable. Income from profession in Kenya, which is set up in India, received there but spent in India. 5,000 for OR, 5,000 for NOR. The reason, business set up in India, and for NR, not taxable. Gift received on the occasion of his wedding, so student, that will be exempted under section 56(2) subsection. Section 56 subsection 2 clause number 10 that exempted this kind of income. Okay. So exempted for all the persons. Interest on saving bank deposit in SBI, taxable for all. Income from business in Russia, controlled in Russia, taxable only for OR. Dividends from Reliance Petroleum Limited, an Indian company, taxable for all the persons. Agricultural income from a land in Rajasthan, exempt under section 10 clause number 1 for all the persons. Okay, so this is the income here. Now, this is the GTI, gross total income, but there will be a twist, and the twist is, student, we have covered the section number 80 TT8 in the chapter in which we have covered the deductions from the GTI, and I told you that interest on saving bank up to 10,000 is exempted for all the persons. Okay. So interest on saving bank account subject to max of 10,000. With 10,000, 10,000, 10,000, we deduct it. Then it will be a total income, that is a taxable income. Okay. With this, students, we have covered all our illustrations. I hope you got all the points. In case of any query, you can definitely write in the comment section. Okay. Come on the test your knowledge part. Mr. Ram, an Indian citizen, left India on 22nd September 2023 for the first time to work as an officer of a company in Germany. Determine the residential status of Ram for the assessment year 24-25. What do you have to check here? Let's write it. Just come on. Base stories, yeah, on the answers. So, under Section 6, Subsection 1, what basic conditions a person have to satisfy if he is a resident in India? So, he has been in India during the previous year for at least 182 days. Or student, if he does not satisfy this condition, he hasn't been in India for at least 60 days in previous year plus 365 days or more in the 4 years preceding the previous year. In case of this person, today, he has been in India up to he left the India on 22nd September 2023. So just count out these days. Okay, that is 1st April, 30 days, May, June, July, August, and the September. Okay, count these days. 30 plus 31 plus 30 plus 31 plus 31 plus 22. 175 days. Okay, now students. Is the second condition applicable here? No. The second condition, that is 60 days condition, will not be applicable here. And the reason being because he left India for the employment purpose now. So, as he is not in India for at least 182 days, so that person is a non-resident in India. Question number 2 is your homework. Question number 3, students, have I just do the question on the interest on the development bonds as there's a category of 3 persons, OR, NOR, NR. So this is the same question as we have covered in the illustration. Again, the homework. Only the figures are changed. Otherwise, the question is totally same. Examine the correctness or otherwise of the statement. Question number 4. Income deemed to accrue or arise in India to a non-resident by way of interest, royalty, and fee for technical services is to be taxed irrespective of territorial nexus. Now, students, remember, we have covered the section number 9 in our classes. And in the section number 9, just come on this. Section number 9, students, I told you about the section 9, subsection 1, clause 5, 6, 7, that about the interest, royalty, and fee for technical services, and we have covered that it will be included in the total income of a person, irrespective that that person has a residence, has any kind of place of residence in India, or any kind of place of business in India, or any kind of business connection in India. Second, either the NR has rendered services in India or not, that income will be taxable here. Okay, so yeah, this income will be deemed to be accrue or arise in India, irrespective of the territorial nexus. Illustration number 5. Examine with reasons whether the following transactions attract income tax in India in the hands of recipient. Salary payable by central government to Mr. Jones, a citizen of India of 7 lakh, as for the services rendered outside India, considering that he pays tax as per the provision of section 115 BSC, that is as per the new tax regime. Yeah, that 7 lakh will be taxable for the person, but there will be, because the what computed is not given here now, there will be a standard deduction of 50,000. It means 7 lakh minus 50,000. 6 lakh 50,000 will be taxable here. Point number 2. Interest on money borrowed from outside India, rupees 5 lakh, by a non-resident for the purpose of business within India, say at Mumbai. Now, student, he earned the interest from an NR who borrowed the money for the purpose of business in India. So yeah, that will be the deemed to accrue or arise in India income. 5 lakh rupees will be taxable in the hands of recipient. Post office saving bank interest of 19,000 received by a resident assessee. He is a resident assessee. Mr. Ram, age 46 years, if he exercises the option of shifting out of the default tax regime, it means he is exercising the option of old regime. So he can claim so many deductions here. First of all, as per section number 10, if a person is getting an income from post office saving bank interest now, so he will get an exempted amount, he will get a deduction of 3,500 rupees. So 19,000 minus 3,500 as per section 10. Okay, now 19,000 minus 3,500. 15,500. Then student, as per section 80 PTA, that is deductions from chapter 6A, he will get a deduction because he is incurring the interest amount from a saving bank account. So he will get a exemption, deduction of 10,000. So only 5,500 will be taxable in this case. Point number 4. Royalty paid by a resident to a non-resident in respect of a business carried on outside India. Now, royalty paid by a resident to a non-resident, it means the recipient is NR here, okay? And NR is getting that royalty for a business which is outside India, so student, that is not taxable for that non-resident person. Legal charges of rupees 5 lakh paid in Delhi to a lawyer of UK who visited India to represent a case at the Delhi High Court. The approval point is in India now. So yeah, that is taxable income. With this point, we have covered the complete chapter number 2. I hope you got all the points. In case of any confusion, you can definitely comment. Okay, thank you, students. And yeah, meet in the next session to complete your most important chapter, PGDP.